Soli, 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 solidarity forever. Solidarity, solidarity forever. Solidarity, solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Soli, 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 solidarity forever. Solidarity, solidarity forever. Solidarity, solidarity forever. We shall always fight for our rights. Oh, freedom come and by struggle. Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come. Oh, freedom come and by struggle. Freedom come by struggle, by struggle. Freedom come. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome today. Deep in my heart. Oh, I do believe that we shall overcome. We shall overcome soon. Oh, we shall overcome. 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 We shall overcome today. Deep in my oh, I do believe that we shall overcome. We shall overcome today. Isoleto, Isoleto, Africa, Africa. Thank you very much. Let's sit down. Quickly, we'll go straight to why we are gathered here for a press conference to make our position known with regards the 25th of February election and of course the coming election on the 11th. Please, we know what to do with our funds. Statement by Edo Civil Society Organizations, EDOCSO, on the presidential and national assembly elections and a call not to give up on voting by citizens on the March 11, 2023 state and houses of assembly election. Delivered this day, Tuesday, 7th March 2023, rather. We welcome all the ever steadfast comrades, leaders of Edo Civil Society Organizations, citizens of our great nation, and the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to this press conference. Edo Civil Society Organizations, EDOCSO, have observed and analyzed carefully the outcome of the 2023 presidential and national House of Assembly elections held on the 25th of February 2023. We have come to the conclusion that it fails to meet up with the expectation, confidence, and credibility we built on the umpire, INEC. Proud to the build-up process to the election, based on all the promises made to Nigerians and political stakeholders on requirements for evaluating the credibility of the elections, wherein INEC assured of the reliability of all INEC materials, especially the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, to give Nigerians transparency on election day based on the newly amended Electoral Act 2022, which was to ensure age-free accreditation, voting, and result transmission. Other reform was the creation of new polling units, thereby decongesting overpopulated polling units to ease the process of Nigerians. The collation and transmission of results to the INEC server from the polling unit was expected to be seamless so as to mitigate election rigging and violence. However, contrary to the above expectations, the 2023 national elections were marked with very shabby organizations, logistics, and operational failures here and there. Failure in electoral transparency, cases of violence all around the 36 states, even citizens' contact numbers that were provided to Nigerians to enable reach out to INEC in case of issues that need urgent attention were not working, thereby resulting to ineffective communication at the point where Nigerians needed INEC more, like when the beavers failed to transmit results. Furthermore, we received credible reports from our members who were accredited election observers and our citizen observers from the different polling units around the country, which gave credence to our assertion of the symbolic elections. We want to express our deep disappointment in the presidential and national legislative election held by Independent Electoral Commission on the 25th February 2023, as we adjudge it to be non-transparent, credible, and fair, even to the process of the declaration of the winner, especially the president-elect, where subsection of the Electoral Act and the Constitution were obviously and consciously ignored. On security, we observed in the day of election there were deliberate negligence of duty by the security personnel as against what Nigerians were used to, where you see accredited utility vehicle for the purpose of INEC duties and patrol vehicles of security personnel on our streets. However, on the just concluded national election, there were free flow of vehicular movement by commercial and private vehicles on our streets with impunity, without resistance from the security agencies who told Nigerians that there was not going to be vehicular movement. The above lacuna and inefficiency of the security agencies aided miscreants who engaged themselves in the different destruction of violent buses and electoral materials, and shooting that characterized the election around the country. We also observed that some of the security personnel were even used to perpetrate some of these electoral offences, while others looked the other way as the electoral crimes were being committed in their presence. In regard to the above observations on security during the election has made us to conclude that there was very obvious conspiracy between the security agencies and the politicians, with support from government of the different states to make stand-down guards for the politicians and their goals to do their desires. On post-national election, we observe during the presidential, after the presidential and national House of Assembly elections, we observe series and pockets of dissatisfaction and unacceptance of outcome, especially the presidential result and winner declared by INEC, which gave birth to the presidential result and winner, which gave birth to protests and unending utterances by Nigerians and politicians to the extent of some unscrupulous individuals using the name of our noble organization, the Edo Civil Society Organizations, EDOCSO, to call for a protest against INEC on the presidential result, which was tantamount to impersonation, a publication we disclaim as saying never originated from us. As a group, we try as much as possible to maintain our political status at all times. Therefore, we cannot be used by politicians to achieve their selfish interests. Very credible reports has it that some avaricious self-styled activists were contracted by politicians to embark on protests in Edo State. We want to use this medium to warn the unscrupulous element to steer clear from using our name, Edo Civil Society Organizations, for any activities without our approval from its leadership, or they will be seriously dealt with legally. To be forewarned is to be forearmed. Our demands to INEC. 1. We demand that the INEC, the Independent National Electoral Commission, apologize to Nigerians for falling short of their promises during the pre-election process, as this was one election that Nigerians came out in their numbers to exercise their franchise out of trust for the assurance of INEC, which came out with great disappointment from them. 2. We demand that INEC should, as a matter of urgent and compulsory importance, address and correct all defects and loopholes during the national elections in the coming state governorship and state houses of assembly elections come 11th March 2023, so as to be able to try restore the already trust Nigerians once had for INEC, which is now very shaky in trust. 3. That INEC must ensure that all results during the state election must be transmitted in record time after counting the ballot papers and collation of votes at the polling unit with the beavers in accordance with the Electoral Act 2022. This is very, very key and important for credibility and transparency purpose during the governorship election and state houses of assembly elections coming up on the 11th of March. 4. That officials of INEC must be given the accurate and complete working election materials to work effectively in order to deliver on a credible, free, and fair election during the state election coming by March 11. Our demands for the security agencies. 1. The security agencies and personnel must assure Nigerians equal and maximum security of their lives and votes during the forthcoming state election coming on the 11th of March 2023 at the poll, and must ensure its reality on election day to buy back their lost trust from Nigerians. 2. That all the security agencies, especially the police, who spearhead the security during the elections, must apologize to Nigerians for their negligence during the election of 25th February 2023, as their services were not seen or felt. Their impact were not seen, or there was no positive impact at all from the security agencies. 3. That all already fingered security personnel that were involved in electoral crimes during the national elections should be investigated, and if found wanting, be reprimanded according to the applicable rules and regulations. These will serve as deterrent to others. 4. That there must be strict instructions for the security personnel at the polling units to arrest any person found wanting, either as discovered by them or their attention drawn by electorates and INEC officials. 5. That they must be very equipped armed security personnel to be positioned at 100 meters proximity close to every voting center and checkpoints at different strategic areas and our roads and streets, as this has been the practice during elections so as to mitigate free movement of thoughts and miscreants who will want to perpetuate election disruptions and crimes. 6. No security personnel should become bodyguards to any politician during the voting period. Our general advice: for the sake of the safety of our lives and public properties, we like to plead to all aggrieved politicians and political parties to please jettison the idea of protesting to reclaim their mandate, but rather put together all available evidence to prove beyond reasonable doubt of their demands and employ the services of lawyers and proceed to court as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended. We also want to advise the courts not to take sides in any cases brought before them, especially the presidential election case, as it will have a long way to either make or mar this country, Nigeria, and prove to Nigerians and indeed the world that the court is truly the last hope of the common man. The court must use this opportunity to redeem all misgiving by the people about it. Conclusively, on behalf of the interim executive and leaders of Edo Civil Society Organizations, Edo CSO, appreciate all our members and all well-meaning Nigerians who believe in democracy and its democratic process of choosing leaders in Nigeria for good governance, for coming out to vote for leaders of their choice during the presidential and national House of Assembly elections, believing that their votes will count. I am pleased to tell Nigerians that indeed their votes counted, and indeed in their turnout at the polling units, surprising the politicians, and that's why it became very difficult for them to read, and we now have all of them begging, having seen their clear, obvious manipulations done in the results announced and later uploaded in the INEC server, that they are all now not finding peace within themselves. I tell you, Nigerians, that we won during the national elections. I want to say thank you for coming out in your numbers. Let's not be discouraged at all by the announced results during the national election. I want to use this medium to tell us again that it is not over yet. In fact, this is the time to come out more in our numbers, to reassure the politicians that truly power belongs to the people in our votes. And with it, we shall retire all the greedy and self-serving politicians in Nigeria by voting them out and vote in our desired governors in the 28 states where governorship elections will be held, and the 36 states houses of assembly in Nigeria on the 11th and going forward. Let us prove to them that we are Nigerians and that we are wiser now, that we don't need their stolen money anymore to cast our votes. We must make them understand that we are more concerned about the future, who leads us, and the process of their becoming our leaders. That never again shall their guns or threats to our individual lives scare us from coming out to cast our votes. We did it better on the 25th of February 2023. We can and shall do it again and best to change the status quo on the 11th of March 2023. No wonder the politicians are all now running from pillar to post, begging and explaining themselves to electorates even when we did not ask them questions. Same politicians who have long ignored us and our plight in the past 4 years counting. They now run adverts on social and electronic media every second, but never again shall we be fooled because our mumu don't do. My fellow Edo people, this is the time to correct the anomaly of having 9 members of State House of Assembly for 4 good years, with other 15 constituencies not represented in Edo State House of Assembly. We must elect representatives that will speak truth to power and not rubber stamp legislators. Representatives that will make laws for the interest of the Nigerian citizens and not for themselves and pay masters. Let's not miss it this time to right the wrong of the past 4 years. Again, I plead with you, Nigerians. Let's not give up in the fight for a better Nigeria, a better state, and a better houses of assembly. Remember, your vote is your right. Your vote is not for sale. Don't be used to rig election, and ultimately, don't sit at home on election day. Come out and vote. This time, it will count by force. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless Edo Civil Society Organizations, Edo CSO. God bless us all Nigerians. Thank you very much. Isoleto, Africa. Any questions from the journalists?
My host work for the Sun newspaper. I listened keenly to your speech. I can say that was a well-tailored speech, well-written speech. But I want to ask you, talk about not protesting. Is it everybody that has the money to go to court? If they don't go out to protest, how will the public know about their plight, their crime? That's my question.
All right. Even if you protest, you will still go to court. So why do you want to protest when you know or you will still go to court? Instead, use the energy of protesting to demand for your mandate. Use it to gather very good evidence that can prove beyond reasonable that indeed you won the mandate, and proceed to court. Because at the end of the day, the Constitution did not say that it is through protest that you will recover your mandate, but it did say that you can go to court and recover your mandate. So we are advising those who are aggrieved and claiming that the results were not true, that they should go and recover their mandate through the court. That is our advice. Thank you, journalists, thank you, leaders of Edo civil society organizations and the executive for coming out, and we hope that this makes Nigerians well, and we believe that on the levels, Nigerians will come out in their large numbers and ensure that their votes count. Isoleto, Africa, slowly, slowly, slowly. Thank you very much.